doing my own sound tonight. That's what that's all about. Thank you very much, Darwin. Holy shit, there's a lot of people in my backyard, and that is fantastic. So, round of applause for coming out on a Sunday night, a school night, as someone pointed out. Well done. Thank you very much. Yes. I'm a dad, but I'm also a deep thinker. I think my t-shirt sort of points that out. I often wonder if Boost Juice is just the most convenient solution for people who have way too much money who can't be bothered to chew their own fruit. I also wonder if Nescafe Blend 43 makes at best an average cup of coffee. Just how bad were blends 1 through to 42? Also wonder there's a number of signs that'll probably never get translated into Braille. The first one is caution hot surface. The next one is beware unfenced cliff. And the next one is door opens towards you unexpectedly. I take my kids op shopping. I love it. They hate it, but fuck it, I don't care. I was op shopping the other day and I found I always buy my books at op shops, Saving the Planet. You can thank me later on. It's okay, no worries. Last book I bought was The Complete Guide to Witchcraft and Magic. And I thought, all right, no worries. And I flicked through it, and there was a section on spells and a section on potions and cauldrons and broomsticks. So I thought, oh, that's pretty complete. Yeah, no worries. And I was reading in the fun facts section, there was this one line that says, you may fascinate a woman by offering her a piece of cheese. Yeah, I know. As soon as I read that, I thought, oh, you fucking what? I wasted 5 years of my life on dating apps. And all I had to do was buy cheese. Hot fucking diggity, all right. And as luck would have it, a week later, I had a date. She was not fascinated. Just confused and a little after disinterested, but certainly not fascinated. So instead of being a man standing in front of you in a newly minted relationship, I'm just a man who owns too much cheese for a tropical city. So, so Gouda, anyone? Yes. I do find it pretty hard. I was down the park the other day. Being a parent, I find it pretty hard. Park just the other day with my kids, having a beautiful parenting moment where I was teaching them to kick the footy. So it's basically just where I get to teach them something and they get to completely ignore me in a new location. That's all about. Head over the footy. Okay, drop foot. Yeah, just kick it. No worries. Yeah, no worries. Okay, you kick it to me. Okay, I'll get that one. No worries. Okay, go again. Okay, look, I'll come a bit closer. Just don't try and kick the cover off it. Okay, right here. So we were at the park for quite a while, as you can imagine. It was a beautiful, long moment. And I noticed that the play equipment was completely surrounded by temporary fencing. And there was this procession, mostly dads with young kids, who'd come to use the play equipment. And of course, the kids were like sort of confused and then very distressed. And all you could hear were the dads saying, I'm not sure, mate. I don't know. There's no sign on it, you know. And little kids are clinging onto the fence, you know. They're reaching through. They could nearly touch the play equipment, you know. They're bawling, you know. Like, imagine that. Your life's play, you know. Made up of play and consistently humbugging the shit out of your parents, you know. And with this temporary fencing, like 20% of their day was gone, you know. They were just heartbroken, you know. Anyway, the dads are trying to sort of prise them off the fence and get them home, making promises that they could never fill, you know. Come on, mate, I'll give you a treat. Okay, right. Yeah, look, maybe you can have some chocolate. Maybe, okay. Maybe some screen time, maybe a movie, yeah, okay. Look, maybe to an Xbox, maybe. Come on, calm down, no worries. Yeah. And seeing all of this, you know, like it sort of brought up some real emotions. It touched me, you know, it really sort of made me think that maybe, just maybe, yesterday afternoon, I shouldn't have put that fence around the play equipment. But God, it felt good. It feels so good. Do you know what you can do with some traffic management equipment? You can do a lot. You and some mates all in high vis, some traffic management equipment and a risk assessment. Fuck, you're telling the police where to go with that sort of shit. Do you know what the most powerful tool is in that entourage? It's the risk assessment. It is. Hands up here if you've written a risk assessment. Okay, keep your hand up if you've read someone else's risk assessment in full. You have just ruined my joke. Absolutely ruined my joke. But thank you for coming anyway. You see, what I was going to say is that no one reads them. They just read the first line, slips, trips and falls. Everything seems to be in order here. But no, you read them all. Well done. Thanks very much. And you're at a comedy show. Well done. And sometimes the parents will catch me putting the fencing around the equipment. And that's when they start to ask some questions like, what's going on, mate? What's happening? And I like to get really creative. I say, oh, mate, we have to shut it down. It's too dangerous. And they say, oh, what's too dangerous about this play equipment? I say, oh, see that sand there? Yeah, it's failed its soft fall rating. It's too soft, mate. Too soft. We're going to rip it all out. Got to replace it with some soft fall rubber. It's got to come from, Botswana. Yeah, 12-month lead time. Yeah. Or I do like to say, see this play equipment, right? See how it's really bright colours, reds, yellows, blues? Yeah, it's too bright, it's triggering the kids. That's the cause of their bad behaviour. All play equipment now has to be pastels. Yeah, the colours are, millennial pink, wilted lime green, non-binary yellow, indiscriminate peach, and quarter-strength mauve. Yeah, they're the colours. It's going to be pastels from now on. And some of you might be thinking, oh, look, Gary, you're really cruel. You're cruel because the kids are the ones missing out. And look, am I really being that cruel? You know, these kids are loved. You know, they're cared for. They want for nothing. Some of them will have an Xbox by the end of the day. To see these little fuckers miss out on one thing, just one thing, God, it warms my heart. I couldn't think of a Saturday morning without it. It'd just be fantastic. I've noticed a few things being a parent as well. I was down in Adelaide earlier in the year for the Adelaide Fringe Festival, and down at Rundle Mall, I saw this woman who was just exhausted, sitting beside a pram that was chock full of groceries, and there wasn't a child anywhere nearby at all. Of course, my parent radar picked this up, and I thought, oh, poor woman. Oh, hang on, where's the kid? And it's really strange, you know, because the pram was full of groceries, but it wasn't full of the right thing. You know, parents don't leave the house with a pram unless they have one, possibly more, of their pre-prepared crotch nuggets to go in said pram, you know. Now, this woman has indiscriminately substituted her children for groceries at the supermarket early day due to fatigue, the fatigue of parenting. As a concerned parent, I say, well done. Because the contents of that pram are getting you way less humbug than the normal occupants at the moment, so well done. Then the next thing I saw was three kids skateboarding down Rundle Mall, you know, really quite, they were about 17, 18, they were moving really fast, in and amongst the pedestrians. And the last one, as he went past me, had a walking cane out the front of his skateboard. Yeah, red and white walking cane with a ball on the end, scanning the footpath in front. And I just thought, holy shit. And so I looked up at his eyes, and they were pretty much closed, you know. So if he wasn't vision impaired, he was giving it a fucking good crack. And the first thing I thought, well, what's going on? What's caused this? Is this just a young vision impaired man with an incredibly positive attitude? You know, he's heard the term "you can do anything" and taken it a bit too literally. Or is this a young vision impaired man who's just pretty fucking angry, you know, and he just loves to hear the sound of people's ankles crushing underneath his skateboard. Living by the motto, disability, try it, it's fun. And that's what he is, yeah. It's also funny being a parent. You notice people, like parents will say, like they love their kids, but they quite often take their kids to cafes. Kids hate cafes. And quite frankly, the feeling's mutual. Cafes fucking hate kids too. Thankfully, kids grow up and they get to a particular age where they don't go to cafes with their parents. And people say they love their dogs, but they also take their dogs to cafes. Quite a few of them do. Dogs also hate cafes. But sadly for dogs, they have to keep going to cafes, you know? Like imagine that. Imagine being this once apex predator, you know, hunted in packs, being led by an alpha, now reduced to like sitting beside an upturned milk crate and some furniture that op shops can't sell in the bespoke corner of a warehouse, listening to inane conversation, milk frothing, and toddlers having tantrums. Like imagine having the hearing of a dog and listening to a 3-year-old scream over and over and over again, and then dying. That's heavy, you know. Like I talked to a good mate of mine who was a vet a little while after I sort of noticed this, and he said that the at least almost 1 in 3 dogs are suffering from canine depression, and the whole veterinary industry doesn't know why. I've got a pretty good fucking idea. A really good idea why that's happening. Yes. As a dad, I'm less tolerant. I found I'm less tolerant. Why? look, you know, sort of lack of sleep, financial insecurity, constant humbug, never-ending psychological barrage from my children on my validity and my existence in the world. It's just the little things. Just the little things. And what's the cause of my intolerance is specific, parenthood. My intolerance seems to be quite broad. Like, I really worry, you know. I get a bit annoyed when someone says, oh, look, I'm going to get fit this year. I've really committed. I've bought an e-bike and I'm going to ride it every day. And I think, really, are you going to get fit? You've dropped multiple thousands of dollars, 3, possibly 5 grand on a bike that's battery powered that you don't have to pedal. If you believe that's going to make you fit, you'll also believe that drinking low-fat milk is going to help you lose weight. Wearing activewear is going to make you more flexible, instantly flexible. If you drop 3 to 5 grand on an e-bike and you think it's going to make you fit, all you've bought is full-blown denial in its wheel form. I just saw a bloke at the markets and he had a huge tattoo on his calf and it was a compass, you know. Had the cursive N, S, E and W and the long sort of triangle. It was a beautiful sort of old world kind of compass, you know. But as soon as I saw it, the intolerance guy, I said, fucking why, mate? Why have you done that? Because unless your calf is affected by the Earth's magnetic field, pretty fucking useless as a navigational aid, isn't it? And if not that, then a very expensive way of telling me that you're into maps. So yeah, just a touch of intolerance, just a tiny bit. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, don't know if you're picking it up. A couple of months ago, I was in an op shop with the kids. I was torturing them. It's fun, anyway. And I saw a goth in an op shop, and this raised quite a few questions for me. The first one is, I'm pretty sure you're lost. But I wasn't anywhere near game enough to ask this goth, you know, because goths have a facial expression that pretty much says, if it turns out I need your help, I'd rather fucking die. You know? And being a goth is a true commitment. You know, it's that facial expression, it's the hair, it's the makeup, it's the clothing, you know. Goths look like something's sucking the life out of them. Sometimes it's repeated satanic verses, sometimes it's severe mental illness. In Darwin, it's just the heat. That's what it's doing. One of the true tenements of being a goth is to know and feel pain. In other cities, goths are outwardly looking for it. In Darwin, they just got to get dressed and go outside. Instant fucking pain. Makeup's running by the time they get to the end of the driveway, you know. Because nothing says pain in Darwin like a black hoodie in December. Absolutely nothing. And the next question was, how did the goth get here? You know, was it a mystery flight gone wrong? Was it a dare from another goth? Were they like the eldest child in her family on like a family holiday in Darwin, and they just had one too many group activities and sing-alongs in matching t-shirts and thought, fuck it, I'm staying. I'm not going to be here. And then, and what was the goth? What did they want to buy? What did they want to buy in an op shop, you know? Was it a rosary bead? A set of rosary beads? Was it books on death? Did they want to buy some clothes that someone had actually died in? No, they wanted. And then I realised what it was. They were there to observe an example of the true living dead. The op shop employee. Someone who wishes they could die, but they can't. Trapped in a Groundhog Day of volunteering that never, ever ends. Because I'm donating the shit back that I bought 2 weeks ago. They must have thought through the same shirt from me 5, possibly 6 times. Kill me now. Kill me now. Just kill me now. Yes. And look, I'll probably just change a bit of tone here. This isn't my parenting bit. This is a bit of a question. Has anyone here found themselves with some free time at work and then just decided to use that free time to have a wank? Me neither. No, me neither. I've never had a job that exciting. But I did read a story about a young man who lost his job because he was caught having a wank at work. And it wasn't because one of his colleagues walked in on him. No, he filmed himself having a wank and posted it online. The stupid will kill us all. There is no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. And I just want to say, like, when you hear a story like this, it's never a woman, is it? It's never a woman. It's always a man. Just confirming that the male decision-making process is idea, action. They just completely skip the thinking part. And I hope that you, as a parent, are as fascinated by this story as I am. Otherwise, the next couple of minutes might be a tad dull. But anyway, we'll work through it. There's a bit of background here. Unless you work in the sex industry, there's no part of your job description which will use the word masturbation or self-love or any of these sorts of terms, wank, any of that stuff. And there's a very good reason why we all masturbate at home, in private, alone. Because whilst it feels really good, there's nothing to see. There's nothing to see. Nothing that a HD camera is going to make it look any better as well. Let's just follow through a few of the steps that our amazing, esteemed, mouth-breathing genius, let's just call him Nathan. But see what Nathan did to not only make himself unemployed, but unemployable. So the first step is Nathan finds himself with some free time at work. So he thinks, instead of getting a drink or getting something to eat, he thinks, how about I have a wank, Now I know we all have crazy thoughts, but it's our job to keep those crazy thoughts locked up in the fucked up part of our brain with all the other crazy thoughts. Thoughts such as, of course I should punch that baby. And thoughts like, driving into head-on into oncoming traffic, yeah, that'll be fun, do it, Having a wank at work, better as a thought, much better as a thought. The next thing is that Nathan decides pre-wank that he should film himself, so he sets up his camera to film it, because you don't want to miss this. Quick little tip from the top, if you're setting up a camera to film yourself, and you're naked or your genitalia is showing, review that decision. And review it again, and review it again, and continue to review it until you come up with the answer not to film, because that is the only answer if you get to it. And then, third, post-wank, the blood's returned to where it needs to be, the decision-making is a little bit less inhibited. Nathan decides, hang on a second, how about I share this with the fucking world? Alright. And as a parent, I just wanted to grab Nathan, and I just wanted to sit him down and go, Nathan, there are much easier ways to quit your job, mate. You don't have to do that. Yes, I worry about looking after my kids, and I'm not earning enough money, because I work for the federal government, and sort of it worries me a bit. And one thing working for the federal government has taught me is that I really should have applied for more jobs. Or started my own small business, it's pretty amazing. I see some very inspirational small businesses around. My favourite one's on Rothvale Road, and I've just got one sign up. It says 10 kilogram bag of ice for $10. So inspirational, because 10 kilograms is a really big bag. And $10 is the most competitive price I've ever seen for methamphetamine. Without doubt. Like that pricing strategy is undercutting every bikie gang in the country. Like if you want to get noticed in your business, do that. Like the only thing you could have done that's worse is go out to Humpty Doo, find a pub full of bikies and set fire to every bike out the front. That's all he could have done. And no need to advertise on Facebook when you do that, is there? No, not at all. Facebook, isn't that amazing? What a fantastic source of considered opinions on contemporary topics. I joined Facebook a little while ago purely for comedic research purposes, and it has, it's come through with the goods. Because stupid people love to post. Fuck, they love to post, right? My favourite post at the moment is just a very simple one that says, things women find unattractive about men. And this post has 163,000 comments. So for those of you who aren't on Facebook, that's a lot of comments. But not as many as the previous time I saw the post, which was 264,000. So well done, fellas, chipping away at it, good job. And then I became really inquisitive, like, is this 163,000 things we do uniquely that women find unattractive? Or is this a core of like 1,000 things we do 163 different ways? And there was really only one thing for it. I had to read every comment. So I did. And now I have the summarised version of these comments for you now. Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much, that's right. You've come to my house and now you're paying me compliments. God, it's just so good. Thank you. It may not be funny, so please just reserve it. Alright, so this is a list of things that women find unattractive about men, and just see if you can pick a bit of a theme in here. Leaves the toilet seat up, leaves the toilet seat up, leaves the toilet seat up, never asks me about my day, leaves the toilet seat up, leaves the toilet seat up, farting uncontrollably, leaves the toilet seat up, leaves the toilet seat up, soft hands, growing hair out of their ears and nose, not cleaning up after themselves, leaves the toilet seat up, leaves the toilet seat up, leaving it down, but then pissing on the toilet seat. Leaves the toilet seat up, leaves the toilet seat up, slept with my sister. Leaves the toilet seat up, leaves the toilet seat up, accidentally ran over my mother, leaves the toilet seat up, unsanitary foreskin, leaves the toilet seat up, when he was right the whole time, leaves the toilet seat up, lack of effort, lack of affection, poor communication, narcissism, arrogance, condescension, infidelity, selfishness, conceitedness, well, all the basics really. Leaves the toilet seat up, breathing, leaves the toilet seat up, the fact that he is a man and he exists. Yeah, so there we go. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. That wasn't me, that was just Facebook. That's great. When I was researching this show, I came up with a few things that kids do instinctively. I just want the parents in the room to see if they can do one of these as well. Not close doors, especially when there's an air conditioner on in a room. Yeah, it's almost like there's they've sort of adopted this royal family type move of like, this room repulses me, I take my leave, and just walk straight out. And they don't wash their hands after going to the toilet, or flush the toilet, or use toilet paper. That's the parenting trifecta when you get that. It's great. This room repulses me, I take my leave. You do a bowel health check on your child that you didn't want to do. It's fantastic. And they don't keep food in their mouth. Like, it'll go in, but it'll sort of come out before they swallow it. And also, if it's on a spoon, they just get half of it in. Why would you bother getting the whole of it in? It's fine. And to capitalise on that, they don't eat over their plates. You can see wherever they've eaten. It's great, yeah. They'll completely or partially spill their drink and not wipe it up at all. So, like, up until a couple of years ago, my kids are they would spill their drink almost every meal, you know? And I sort of worked out what's happening. And what they do is, when they're reaching for something, they just sort of form a fist and just sort of punch through their drink. Which, of course, had me saying, for fuck's sake, don't punch shit on the table, you know? Which, of course, makes me the idiot when that's taken out of context. One amazing thing they can do is when they're younger, they can take their pants and undies off with such ferocity that it just rolls into this ball with the same density as a cricket ball. You're doing your washing, just trying to pull it apart. So cool. Another good one is they'll answer you in their head twice, maybe 3 times. And then when you point out they haven't said anything, they just lose their shit, saying, "I fucking answered!" You may have in your head, but you didn't say anything. They complain bitterly about being asked to help with the most menial tasks. And they still do it really fucking poorly. So, they can sweep the same floor 5 times, get the same amount of dirt up, no worries. The last one is they don't actually finish really important things, even though they've had like ample time to do it, and many prompts. You know, like so for example, this is a cockatoo soap dispenser. That's right, it works. I got it for Christmas. I didn't want it, but I've got it. There we go. We do use it, and it came on Christmas with a card, and my kids had tried to put the glue on the card and then sprinkle the sparkles over the top to make a word, and it said "Merry Chirp." And then there's this little box down the side that said, "Sorry, Dad, I ran out of time." I was so, fuck me, there's 364 available days. Really? You've run out of time. It's insane. Yes. Look, I'm just going to finish off with one more. Down in Adelaide, down in Adelaide at the Adelaide Fringe, and there was, first thing I noticed, there was a lot of homelessness down there, and that really sort of struck me, you know. And it started this internal debate about, do I or don't I give a homeless person money? Because if I do give them money, they'll probably waste it on the things that have got me into homelessness. But if I don't, then how will they eat? Where will they sleep? How will they probably drag themselves out? And it was a real debate built by this growing empathy inside, and of course it was running. And then I saw a bloke walk past a homeless guy and turn around and come back. And he handed him $10, you know, and they had a bit of a chat and a smile and a laugh. It was a beautiful moment. Of course, that made my internal debate just go double time. And the empathy was just pouring out of me, you know. By the time I got back to my hotel room, the internal debate had externalised, but my thoughts were going too fast for my mouth. So it was just dribble, you know. I was pointing, my head was wobbling, and I was just going backwards and forwards. I looked like a Parkinson's sufferer who was debating in a foreign language. But one lucid moment in amongst it, I thought, I've got to do something about this. So I left my room and I raced out and I found the nearest homeless guy I could. And I took $50 out of my wallet and I handed it to him. But as I did, all of this empathy just poured out of me, and I was just debating like a dickhead into his face. 45 seconds later, maybe a minute, he slowly sort of raises his hand up with this half confused, half pissed off look on his face, and he accepts the $50 but says, "Mate, debilitating mental illness is my thing, just back the fuck off, alright?" And I did, back the fuck off. But from that moment on, I had to give every homeless person I saw $50 to control my empathy. Now, there's a lot of homeless people in Adelaide, and I found, that on the second last day of my trip, I was only 3 homeless people away from being homeless myself. And it was that point in time where I just thought, you know what, it's not actually alcohol addiction or drug addiction or mental illness that actually really causes homelessness. It's actually uncontrolled empathy and way too many ATMs. That's what causes homelessness. And I actually can't be homeless. I really can't. So I have to be careful because I have nowhere to keep my cockatoo self-respect. My name's Gary O'Sullivan. Thank you very much.
Gary O'Sullivan, everybody. Give him a round of applause. Alright, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break here, and that is where you can use Gary's toilet. You could use his shower if you want. If you feel like you haven't got enough value out of the comedy so far, just pick something from his house. Just go, this feels like $25 worth, and that should be good. We'll be back in just a sec. See you soon.